Haiti Biz News. Haiti Biz News today is the 25th of October. We're up really early, 7:20 right now. That was actually streaming this. Might be watching this at a more reasonable hour. Lucky you. And it's always better to do it earlier than later because at least folks can watch it when they usually do watch the stream. And so I'll take the hit to make sure you guys are comfortable. You see how that works? You see how hospitality works? Right? We got lots to do, lots to talk about today. It's going to be a relatively quick hitter episode. The reason why we're doing this so early, we got some stuff I got to do today. Some really important stuff today. And so it's important that I can knock out, but at least talk with you guys, update you guys what's going on in Haiti, and then I can able to get on and do what I got to do, right? And so I'm going to pause it right here. We're going to do what I usually do in the background for about a minute or two, and then I want to get into the Haiti Biz News show. As always, I want to thank you guys who are here super early to watch this, and again, those who are watching after the fact, you have a great show ahead of you. All right, so we'll be right back.
About news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday. Haiti Biz News Show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened. I'm going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz News Show. You know, I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. And so this is what this program is here. Haiti Biz News Show, Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. You know, Haiti Biz News Show. It's Sundays weekly, which is Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News Show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News Show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened. I'm going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz News Show. You know, I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. And so this is what this program is here. Haiti Biz News Show, Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News Show. It's Sundays weekly. This is Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News Show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News Show. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on Instagram. You can always catch us 11 a.m. On Sundays. We are live on air. We're going to be talking weekly happenings, economically focused on what has happened. And we're going to dissect it in an unbiased, impartial way. And a big part of what we do here, of course, is Haiti Biz News Show. You know, I did not see and do not see any place online where folks can get a CNBC, Bloomberg-like focus on what's going on at the macroeconomic level of Haiti. So this is what this program is here to do. Haiti Biz News Show, Sunday, 11 a.m. We're here every Sunday, right? 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News Show. It's Sundays weekly. This is Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News Show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition. You can always catch us live.
And boom, we're back. We're back, and we're on all the platforms. We're on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Periscope, Twitter, aka. We're on all of them. And so I want to welcome everyone. Good morning. It's the 25th of October. We got lots to talk about, as I mentioned at the top before the intermission. Now we're doing this early because I got a busy day ahead of me, a jet-setting day, as it were. I'll leave it at that. And so I much prefer to do this show earlier, so folks who are used to watching at 11 a.m. per the intro, they still can, right? And those who are able to catch this live, I want to give you guys respect for being such early birds to be able to catch the news. And in fact, it might be better for some of you guys, actually. This might be the preferred time for some of you guys, in fact. So good morning, welcome. Lots to talk about. I want to say what's up to Negma Wong. Good morning. I want to say what's up to 557-497-772 over there in Periscope land. We got Claudie Love Francois in the house. Good morning. Happy to have you. Got Wesley Campbell, my homie from Hollywood, Florida. What's up, brother? Or actually, Hollywood, LA. FLA. There you go. FLA. Missed that F right there. We got Mackendale in the house. What's up? Good morning. We got Daniel Dodard. What's up? Salute, sir. Always happy to have you in the chat. We got Jake Cod up in here. Good morning, folks. And of course, we have Mighty Rick. Mighty Rick is saying, what's up from Instagram? What is up? What is up, people? I want to say good morning, good morning. Comme toujours, nous toujours disons un petit peu en créole pour nous connaître, pour expliquer que nous avons plus de respect pour le langage haïtien, qui est pas nous. Et nous faisons ça en anglais parce que nous avons un côté que l'autre monde et nous tout, parce qu'il y a plus d'haïtiens, c'est 3 millions d'haïtiens parce qu'ils vivent aux États-Unis et nous avons une préférence finalement, il y a une préférence pour anglais et en plus il y a un niveau de compréhension plus tout dans anglais tout et faut connaître que monde qui parle nous ça qui a un bon niveau de contrôle de Haïti. Faut comprendre ça, parce que quand un avion pour entrer à Haïti, avoir 3 cas mon avion yo c'est blanc yo, c'est monde qui étranger. Avec c'est eux même qui a éduqué si nous comme haïtiens parce que tout haïtien quand yo débarque yo même yo laver main de Haïti c'est monde qui pi mal parler pas monde qui pi mal parler Haïti que l'autre haïtien. OK? Mais quand on rentre dans le pays, c'est l'autre monde, espagnol, tout ça, qui a rentré, a fini, yo comprendre le pays par rapport à l'anglais. So, nous faisons mission ça pour qu'à dire par un autre face, un autre niveau d'information, c'est ça qui passe dans le pays. Parce que celle nouvelle au point même, c'est dans Fox News, c'est dans CNN, c'est dans Miami Herald. Mais par rapport à ça, il reporte de Haïti, c'est moun qui en fatra, moun qui a un cyclone qui passe, quand il y a un tremblement de terre, au niveau de corruption, c'est un pays loc, tout ça, c'est celle temps yo vraiment exposé sur Haïti. Tout ça qui passe dans le temps, toute progression économique qui a fait, yo va recevoir. So, c'est un espace pour accord haïtien par nous, comme par nous, et qui ont préférence pour anglais, ils ont recevoir une nouvelle en anglais. Et then, d'autres gens qui parlent, qui ont un côté, un champ, qui ont comprendre ça qui passe dans Haïti, dans le sens économique, plus dans le sens qui ont un avancement. Et nous là pour partager là avec eux. So, les gens qui sont fâchés par rapport à eux, entrer sur un débat, une émission, une discussion sur Haïti, a fini au bas, j'aime acceptable que on ne pas parler le langage là, surtout peut-être là. Ndadjou, il était pause, parce que même le gars, ouais, il a accenté, whatever, mais il a fait, non. Mais la mission, c'est pas ça lié. La mission, c'est bas d'information pour le monde entier. Est-ce que vous comprenez? Le monde entier. Parler qui langage? Je parle anglais. Désolé. On joue peut-être qu'on a pris au niveau ça, mais il est beaucoup là. OK? So, le monde qui vraiment pas comprendre, qui pas finir suivre ça, nous va faire tellement aller rapide. Puis l'autre côté, on a joué l'information, ou bien Radio Metropole, ou bien Tripotel Lacaille, ou bien Radio Caribe, ou bien Vision 2000, ou bien Guiwewe, ou bien Janson Napoléon, OK? Tout le monde ça, tout côté ça, OK? Ou qu'à recevoir l'information dans le langage, vous pouvez faire. Mais ici, là, c'est anglais. OK? OK? Merci un peu. OK? That's my usual Creole disclaimer for the folks who find it murderously offensive that any conversation in Haiti is not done in Creole, but we gotta always break down that the people who are coming in and influencing the country, for example, when I get on a plane and over 3/4 of the plane, it's white people, okay? They're not getting their news about Haiti in Creole. They're getting their news about Haiti in English, right? And what they get from CNN, what they get from Fox, what they get from Miami Herald is the absolute worst of the worst stories, because their business is here to sell sensation. They're not here to actually educate or inform, right? And we need a space somewhere on the interwebs where folks can get a full, complete story of what's happening in Haiti, and in particular, a desire just to look for those stories that give us a bit of positive feeling that the country might be going in a direction that progresses, right? And believe it or not, there's plenty of those stories, and that's why we're here. Haiti Biz News is here, because there's no space, there's no Bloomberg, there's no CNBC that focuses on these sort of economic empowering stories. So that's why we're here. So that's why I'm so happy to have you guys here every morning. I don't need thousands of people to watch. I just need a handful of actioneers to be informed, and so when they impact, they can do it, and they can maximize your chance of success. And Haiti is better, will be better for it, right? So thank you guys for coming in. I want to tell you guys, we had an incredible episode, Brother Love, on the YouTube Seejeanty channel. Incredible story, a Haitian deportee who left, who was forced to leave America maybe 2 years ago, relatively recent, and since then he's been, impacting his community. He's been working with children, education, helping empower his entire community, taking the kids who were schoolless and has had them on the right path. A path, he went a path so he could tell others not to follow it, right? And he's really turned not only his life around, but really community which he's a part of around. And I really welcome folks. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. It's on the YouTube Seejeanty channel, YouTube Seejeanty channel, same name as down here. If you're watching on YouTube, you see the little name down there. Watch it, subscribe, like it, and then I want you to go ahead and share that video. We need to get these stories out because there is this incredible negative perception of Haitian deportees, and you got to understand, most people, I mean, a lot of deportees get deported for non-criminal offenses, believe it or not, right? There's folks who just come in and especially in the administrations we've been part of. I mean, you look at Obama, before Trump, Obama had the most deportations of any president, right? And the vast majority of deportations were not criminal offenses. They were just, hey, you overstayed your visa, right? And he was very aggressive of getting people out. And Trump has continued that, right? And so we really need to understand that there is redemption, even for those who may have done something that, quote unquote, really got them to leave. And Brother Love is an incredible story. So do check that out. It was a very different style. We started earlier. I wasn't in the video at all. I did a Stan Lee level cameo right at the beginning, and then of course towards the end. So a lot of folks really appreciated that style, and we certainly will have to consider doing that style again sometime very soon. Right? That's one thing I like. I always like mixing stuff up, mixing up styles. Keep the presentation fresh. Right? So that's Brother Love. Do make sure to go and check that video out. Right. As always, let me go put that banner underneath there. You can take a look and see. We had share the live, partage live, and of course, for those who are inclined, we do have that Square Cash. We do have the Square Cash underneath there, and of course, every penny and dollar that's provided to the stream, it goes to improving the cast, improving the technologies we use. And when we go out of the country, out of the city, in Port-au-Prince, it pays for lodging and a lot of other expenses for the team. In fact, I can tell you, end of November, we're looking to do a series in Jacmel. Can't wait for that. Spend a few days out there, and of course, a lot of the funds that we're going to use to cover our expenses has been donated from you guys. So I want to say hats off, thanks. You guys are a part of creating some incredible content that doesn't exist anywhere. Doesn't exist anywhere on the interwebs. And so hats off to those who contribute. And again, no pressure, no pressure. I'm not here to hound you or ask you for a penny. Listen, I will hound you though for a share, right? I will ask you to share this video, right? Because the goal here is to inform, right? And so share this video, right? And like the video, hit that like button, smash it, hit that heart button, right? Smash it, right? I will hound you for that because that's my mission, is to help with the improved knowledge capacity of us, right? Before I start with the news, let me just hop back in the comments really quick. I won't, unfortunately, be able to stick around after the episode like I usually do, just to chill, hang out with you guys, and look at the comments and chat. Again, we have a very busy day. That's why I'm starting so early. And so as I do the stream, if I see a comment or two that really grabs my attention, I'll address it, but we're not going to have our usual session. I apologize, but next Sunday we should be fine. We should be able to go back to our usual schedule and my usual capacity to really take time to chat with you guys, right? But let me just hop in the comments really quick and say, let's see, J Cat will be back at 11. No problem, brother. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate you. Ma Liberté Financière. What's up, man? What's up? I appreciate you. Johan Macarabodi. What's up? Following from Port-au-Prince. This Chicken Fiesta is still one of my favorite places to eat. Unsponsored. Just letting you guys know. Chicken Fiesta over down in Pétionville, across from Wazi's. Incredible selection of wings, unique flavors. Did a video on it, by the way. Chicken Fiesta. Spelled just like it sounds. Go check that video out. Right? Good to have you in the stream, Johan. Right. This is Haiti. What's up? Good morning. We got Solive Julien. Good morning. Rich T. What's up? Good morning. We got Lovely King Magni. Good morning. What's up? We got Kat Casimir. Good morning. What's up? Seejeanty out there. Good morning, my dear. We got Kirby Damizier. Oh, that's get him with us. Kirby de Messier. Okay, I got it right. I said it right. Jovenel is the best Haitian president, is what he's saying. Let's let history decide that. If I'm going to be talking about some stuff, actually, right? And then Gene Baker, good morning from Boston. Good morning. Happy to have Boston in the house. We got Dan Manucci in the house over in IG. What's up, brother? Happy to have you. We got Life of Simply Saying. What's up? Saying he or she enjoyed, or she, I think I see that's a female avatar. She is saying that she enjoyed the Brother Love episode and also appreciates Haiti Biz News. So thank you so much. I appreciate you for watching the stream, right? So it's only as good as the people who are watching. So I do want to thank you. By the way, IG, this emission will, you only have 1 hour IG. And so if this drops while you're watching, go to YouTube or go to Facebook. There's no cap on YouTube or Facebook. Same name, Seejeanty. You can finish watching it there. IG, for some reason, only allows you to do 1 hour, which is, I don't know, that's crazy to me, right? So just FYI, if you're watching on Instagram right now, okay? So we're going to get into the news. Let's hop into it, right? Take a quick sip of the water, right? And so lots to talk about. Headlines. We're going to mention COVID briefly. I'll be honest, I'm not even mentioning the numbers anymore. I'm going to say 1 sentence on COVID and move on. New Haitian Constitution is imminent. Oh, stick around. We'll talk about it. 25 American parliamentarians are against Haitian elections. Who are they? We'll talk about that. Fuel prices update. They've been revised again in Haiti. We'll talk about it. MOU between PNH and Bernard Mez Hospital. Whoa. This is important. We'll talk about it. Internal unit has been created under anti-corruption, the Bureau in Haiti. We'll talk about this. Transportation. There's some airline news happening. Sunrise Airways is doing something a little different, or going back to what they used to be doing, right? So we're going to be talking about that. International aid. Japan's doing some stuff. The United Nations is doing some stuff. We're going to be talking about what exactly is going on this episode. IDB as well is doing some stuff as well in the country, right? We're going to be talking about that as well. So a bit of a compact episode, but still some really important stuff that we're going to be talking about today. All right, sounds good. All right, I'm going to do one more dive into the chats, and then we're going to go into the news stories. Let's see. Claudia Love is saying, I'm being watched on a 65-inch television. Let me look around. I'm looking around. 65 inches of my eyeballs. Claudia, appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching me on a big screen. Thank you so much. We got Thad Chick Jersey, top of the family, saying what's up. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you for watching. We got Mirlanda Martine watching from Kodak Cadien. I mean, listen, you shouldn't be watching. You should be taking a nice dip in the waters out there. Kodak Cadien is a fantastic resort area, and hats off for being able to relax and enjoy yourself out there. And, thank you for watching. You got JD in the house from Long Island. Wow, Long Island's in the house. That's what's up. And we got Ayai Fortune. Says it would be great to have a new constitution for sure. It should allow for any Haitian kids who decide to run for any post or any president to run for president. We'll be talking about that right now, right? And then, by the way, if you're on Facebook and you're trying to chat, I know sometimes Facebook has issues. I do see a few Facebook folks coming in here, but sometimes I've noticed that after the stream, there's some Facebook people I didn't see to address. So YouTube has 100% success rate for comments, so you can always switch over to YouTube and drop a comment there, right? All right, so let's talk about it. First and foremost, COVID. Listen, COVID, things are going down still, right? That's the best I can. COVID. There's a handful of places when you go to Haiti now, you have to wear your mask, and they're usually grocery stores. Beyond that, I was hanging out yesterday at. If you are my IG, you guys are my IG. I was hanging out at a really nice eatery not too far from where I reside, and there's music, live music bands, and folks were hanging out, having a little birthday party. No one's wearing a mask, not even the employees of the restaurant. Folks are hugging and kissing. Haiti does. On the cheek. Mwah, mwah, listen. If there's COVID, I'm telling you, we're due for a nasty spike in Haiti because Haitians are not acting as if there's COVID, and the numbers are going down considerably, as well, and to the point where, and I'm sure a lot of you guys who are in America and still having to take precautions, are fatigued to even hear about it. I'm fatigued to even report about it. And as it stands right now, I'm just going to mention, COVID is going down. It's on a decrease in Haiti and DR. If something significant happens on the COVID front on the island of Haiti, I'll let you guys know. But as it stands right now, COVID is going down. Quick question from Neg Myron saying, do foreigners have to quarantine when landing in Haiti? And that is no. You still have to. You should still get your negative test. They will ask for it, but they won't not let you in the country if you don't have it. But do the right thing. Test yourself before coming. And now they have these quick 30-minute tests nowadays that allow you to very quickly get tested. And so just do the right thing. Get tested if you don't want to come in the country positive, because again, the risk for spread and the risk to actually impact Haiti in a very negative way is very high. So I'd advise you guys not to do that. Right? So that's COVID. That's COVID news, right? Next, let's talk about the new Haitian Constitution. New Haitian Constitution is imminent. President Jovenel Moïse went on the airways yesterday to talk about how one of the cores of the instability in the country is the way the Haitian Constitution is designed. Right? He expressed how what we all know. We had extensive here at Haiti Biz News, extensive conversations about the Constitution. How really the president is nothing more than a figurehead, nothing more than a ceremonial, signature signing individual. He has no real power when Parliament's in session to do anything, right? And even though elected, it's the prime minister that administers the government. Prime minister has to be approved by Congress, by Parliament, and the prime minister runs the day-to-day affairs of the ministry, the actual government. Right, the heads of the different departments are run by the prime minister, right? And the prime minister actually reports to Congress, not necessarily to the people. And he expressed all that, talked about that, and though we've expressed many times here on that all power resides in Parliament, but they always like to say, oh, it's the president who's not doing his or her job. It's the president that's stopping development in the country, but yet all power is there. And President Moïse said, listen, currently, if Parliament did their job, maybe potentially this version of the Constitution will work. But as we know, they don't. As we know, for 20 plus years, they haven't, right? So that's one thing he mentioned. He mentioned additionally how the situation with the fact that so many Haitians are disenfranchised by the Haitian Constitution, right? By when you leave, you can't participate really in your government. It's very difficult to do so. He talked about that, right? And in effect, he made it clear that he's looking to make substantial changes to the way the Constitution works to help embolden. Because at the end of the day, he said, the position of the president is gained by universal suffrage directly from the people. The people give the president a mandate because any president campaigns, any president goes and makes promises. But yet, when the president gets into power, he realizes that he really cannot effect any campaign that he's supposed to do without Congress approving it. And many times Congress has opposition. Even a small group, a handful of opposition, can blockade progression of any administration's affairs, i.e., as just like happened during his administration, right? We saw that. A lot of folks like, well, he had PHTK. he had the majority, man, and he still didn't do anything. But you realize that it took only 4 senators, right, that were able to totally derail any vote. I mean, I got one point where one senator put out a gun during one session to stop the vote of something. If you guys want to go back, there was another senator who literally took out all the furniture, all the desks in the Senate, and put it outside, right? And remember, if you guys remember, the Constitution protects senators. I mean, literally, a senator could pull out a gun, shoot somebody in the head. I'm not kidding. It's not hyperbole. I'm telling you what the reality of being a congressperson and parliamentarian is in Haiti. You pull out a gun, shoot somebody in the head, get back in your car, and not a police officer can stop you. You are totally immune to the law, right? And the only way you could be prosecuted would be the other senators would have to vote to remove your immunity, and that's when they could be prosecuted. This is the reality of our Constitution. I want to be very clear. Okay? And so, when we talk about what a president can do and how much leverage a senator can do, we'll just look at what happened these past, 3 years or 2 years when Parliament was in session, and how just a handful of senators were able to derail any progression. And you can see that, this Constitution really ties in the hands of any president. And just imagine because I always say, because everyone wants to be president, right? That's one reason I never want to be president. I want to actually do good in this country. I actually want to impact real change before I pass away, right? And that's why we're here, focus on business, focus on job creation, focus on empowering ourselves economically so we can impact and be successful economically and then impact, change. That's why I'm a rare Haitian man who doesn't want to be president, because I understand the presidency doesn't really mean anything, especially with this Constitution, right? And he talks about that. He talks about how, he's absolutely not empowered to be able to make the changes. Any president, let's say one day we do get that Jesus Christ president, we get the Kagame president, that Kagame could not impact his policies in Haiti under this Constitution. He couldn't, right? A lot of folks, man, I can't wait. We finally get that good leader in Haiti, man. When are we gonna get that good leader in Haiti? When, right? If we do get that leader will not be able to impact the change he needs to do, given the Constitution. And he talked about that. And so he said elections are happening in 3 months, right? He said that there is going to be a referendum that takes the Constitution to the people. Now, what that means, how you guys plans to do it? Is it going to be on the same ballot as the Parliament? It's not clear yet. It's not clear if he's going to come out with a referendum next month. That's not clear yet. He said that he's been working with the opposition for over the past 3 months. He says the past 3 months he's been working, right? And that's really news to a lot of people. And listening to what the opposition's been saying and drafting it into this new Constitution. Now, to be clear, the Constitution, you cannot amend the Constitution by referendum. It's clear. There's an article in the Constitution that says this Constitution cannot be amended by referendum. But there is no law that says you can't draft a new Constitution altogether by referendum. I mean, in fact, and that's something you can never really take away, because at the end of the day, the Constitution is the contract of the people. And so if you present a contract to the people to vote for, and if they accept it overwhelmingly as a majority, then you have a new Constitution. And that's the way President Moise wants to go about it, right? And so we're going to see ultimately. I almost didn't want to report on this just because, I don't like reporting on things that's going to happen, but it is significant enough to talk about it. That new Constitution is coming. We expect in this new Constitution, that we're going to have hopefully a significant role for the Haitian diaspora to play, right? Because we spent a lot of time talking about how the Haitian diaspora are excluded, and it's not right. 4 million Haitian diaspora across the world are excluded from contributing their capacities to Haiti, and that's a problem. He talks about this, right? And so it's absolutely crucial that we keep a very close eye on this and the possible impacts that this is going to do, right? The possible impacts of what this is going to do, right? I know I'm seeing a lot of folks are lighting up my comments right now, and I'm hearing one side, another side. I really want to address it. But today, of course, is a shorter episode. But I do encourage you guys to drop your opinion, drop your perspective in the comments, right? As you guys are on YouTube right now, if you guys are on Facebook right now, a lot of you guys are going to be watching this after the fact because we're doing this so early. I really would like to read your comments. I will read your comments afterwards. I would like to hear your perspective. Is this a good thing for Haiti, right? Do you agree that the instability is because of the Constitution, or is it because of the people? Because I know some other people, some other perspectives on this is that no matter what constitution you put, the corrupt politicians are going to mess it up, right? It's not the flavor of the Constitution, it's the flavor of the people who decide to execute it. And if people who decide to execute it corruptly, it doesn't matter what sort of constitution you have. Because I'll be honest with you guys, I actually like the Constitution as it is, minus the fact that the exclusion of the Haitian diaspora. Minus that, I'm a big fan of the current Haitian Constitution, because we in Haiti have had a long history of very abusive executive branches, right? And so because of that, we removed a lot of the power of the executive branch and put it in the hands of the parliamentarians, right? Now, there are some things I would tweak about it. For example, in fact, right now, the way it's set up, there's elections every 2 years. It's supposed to happen. And that's a problem, because when you have time to legislate, if a quarter to a half of your parliament is in campaign mode all the time, when do you have time to actually legislate? You don't, because you're always campaigning, right? So I probably would move it to have it to where every 4 years at least you do elections, and it gives your folks who are elected time to actually learn on the job and actually do their job without having the pressures of pandering to come into play, right? For at least a chunk of it. Certainly some tweaks here and there. My personal perspective is on it, but of course, our Constitution for it to work, we needed good parliamentarians, qualified parliamentarians. And the way it stands right now is you have a good fraction of senators and deputies who can't even read. I'm not being malicious. I'm not trying to cast aspersions on our parliamentarians here in Haiti, but this is the reality. Ask anybody, ask anyone. There is parliamentarians elected in Haiti who can't even read. And you're expecting them to, move the country into a positive direction. You see what I'm saying? So certainly, it goes back to my ill feelings about the Haitian diaspora not being allowed to, be anything other than mayor in the current Constitution. That's a big problem, because when you have such 80% of the Haitians who are educated with degrees, with diplomas, are living outside the country, and then you say 80% of your people are not allowed to participate in the politics of your people, you're not setting yourself up to succeed. You're not setting yourself up to be successful, right? And that is a major flaw of the current Constitution, and one of the reasons why you have a crust of people in it that have so completely made it an unstable institution, implementation, right? And I think, so that's why I think, honestly, if President Moise does come in with a new constitution, and he just makes it clear that the Haitian diaspora has no limitations, obviously make some sort of residency requirement, say, hey, you have to at least be in the country for 4 years or 5 years before you run for anything. But you can still run for anything once you prove your residency after your residency period. I think that is an incredibly good thing. And I think whatever version of government we have, just ensuring that our diplomed, educated body of people outside the country with experiences, with capacities that can actually come back and provide them can do that, right? We're doing that. We would be doing an incredible positive for ourselves just by that fact alone, however the new Constitution is structured. I'm serious. Right? And so that's the news as relates to that. We'll keep an eye on it. Certainly when that new Constitution drops, we'll make sure you come to Haiti Biz News for that update, right? Because we will break down the updates where it changes significantly from the current Constitution. We'll certainly have a deep discussion on it. In fact, it's going to be so important. I may have to do a special episode of Haiti Biz News, and where I'll probably want to try to bring an expert in, an attorney who specializes in constitutional law, to come in and try to break down the Constitution to us. So watch out for that. There's going to be a special episode because it's significant. Because when you do business in the country, right, and you realize that the biggest obstacle to doing business in the country is the government, and now we're going to have an opportunity to have basically a brand new government. There's nothing that impacts business more than understanding what that new Constitution is and the potentiality of that new Constitution for the government and then ultimately for business. So when that happens, it'll be happening very soon. We are going to be talking about it on Haiti Biz News. All right. So thanks, guys. Thanks for that. The next news story has to do with the 25 American parliamentarians who are against Haitian elections. 25 parliamentarians, right? Congressmen, men and women, who are against the Haitian elections. And that includes Frederico Wilson. That includes Senator Edward Markey. Includes even Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is signed this letter. Elizabeth Warren signed this letter, right? Some heavyweights have signed this letter. 20 plus others have signed this letter that addressed to the Pompey, head of state, State Department, saying that you guys need to stop pushing for Haitian elections. Because right now in Venezuela, understand, there's very clear the American stance is, because Venezuela is trying to push for elections right now. Of course, the current president, Maduro, is obviously going to win that, of course, right? But the United States is very clear, saying that, hey, elections can't happen in Venezuela because the fundamentals aren't there for it to be a free and fair election, right? And the U.S. stands very clear in that. U.S. has made the OAS and a bunch of other organizations, including Haiti, vote along with Haiti, with America, to say, hey, Venezuela can't have a vote. Now, these 25 American parliamentarians, congressmen, have said the same thing. They say, wait, we don't have a situation in Haiti where elections can happen, right? Number one, you have a CEP, which is supposed to handle the elections, and the usual groups that would give representatives to the CEP, most of them have not participated, right? And in fact, you have just a unilaterally provided CEP just from the president, right? And that's not right. You have a lot of new groups that usually aren't represented, that the president decided to make them represented, and that's not right, right? And of course, they are not even sworn in. Even the Court of Cassation that's supposed to swear them in refuses to swear them in, right? So from the perspective of these congressmen, this is an illegal electoral body, right? And they're of the mindset as well that President Moise cannot be trusted to issue a free and fair election. Right? They mentioned that Petro Caribe, there have been big allegations of his party being subject to a lot of corruption, right? And they have incentives to keep someone in office that will not prosecute them, right? And on and on and on, right? In terms of the insecurity as well, they talk about the insecurity that's happening in the country, the the gangs in particular areas, kidnappings, things of that sort happening in particular specific areas of the country, right? All reasons why they do not feel that elections would be fair, inclusive, and constitutional, right? And they urge us not to push for rushed elections. They should push for elections, but not rushed elections, right? Currently, right? And that's the situation where we're at right now, right? And that's why, by the way, too, I did mention that it's going to be, and a lot of folks are like, Seejeanty, what do you mean? You're being full of it. When I said that, if Biden becomes president, Haiti is going to become very unstable. And I think one of the reasons why President Moise is pushing very quickly to get this new constitution out is because he understands that. He understands that if Trump is out of office and Biden comes into office, that brings, all these, when you talk about Frederick Wilson, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, we're talking about Democrats, right? Don't forget, too, that we have Karine Jean-Pierre, who's the chief of staff of the VP, vice president. And you have a lot of very influential Haitians who lean Democrat, who do not like President Moise. Right? And you have an opposition that's really organized for one thing, and that's to be in opposition against President Moise. And you saw what they've done the past 2 years in terms of pays law and shutting down the country and arming gangs and influencing kidnappings and on and on and on. And it's only going to get worse if they feel empowered by a new president that they will feel if they do pay law one more time. Let's do it one more time. And this time we'll get the result we want, which is a U.S. government that says, hey, Jovenel, you got to go. A la Aristide. Because the precedent has been set. The precedent has been set. This has happened before, twice, in fact, where if we it's like a child, right? We pass nous fait coller, as the expression goes. Hard enough, the parent has to respond, right, for attention. And that's really where we're going to be, truly, right? Whether or not it works or not, because if Trump stays in office, Trump has made it very clear he is for the plan of President Moise. He's made it very clear by his actions, right? And so that's the news as relates to that. Again, just be aware if Biden wins, it's going to be tough times in Haiti. Just be very, very clear on that. I need you guys not to remove the rosy pictures and just understand that. Still, vote what you need to vote for in America, right? Vote, per your interests. Trump, that orange guy. I'll leave it at that. I'm sure I have some Republicans who watch. They got eyeballs too. I'm not looking to offend. But put it like this: one of the reasons why we're having a short show today is I'll be stateside to make sure my ballot counts. Put it like that. And I want to make sure my vote counts. It's very important that my vote's expressed. And I could have voted absentee, but I have a very good friend of mine actually who told me that they disqualified his vote simply because he used a blue ink instead of black ink. And they disqualified his absentee ballot because of that. And so when I heard that, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely flying in, so I vote. and so vote the way you feel like. Just understand, though, there's going to be consequences for Haiti. And much folks like to say, well, who cares what happens in another country? And I'm sorry, since 1804, Haiti has been in a geopolitical situation where we've been a factor, right? And other things have been a factor upon us, right, since day one, and they continue to be so, right? Next news story has to do with fuel price updates. We talked about a few weeks ago where gasoline went down, and diesel went down and kerosene didn't. President Moise advised that they didn't go far enough. He didn't find it acceptable that kerosene didn't move, and also the price of certain things didn't move further. And so gasoline is still at 201 good per gallon. That's unchanged, right? But diesel is actually going to be 169 good instead of 174. So that's down further. It's down further, 164 good, 169. And kerosene has finally seen a change. When it was at 173, and now it's at 163, right? And so it is great for the people. This is, fuel price is one of those things that connected to everything in the society, transportation to food costs. Everything is because everything has to be transported, by fuel, right? And people live. When you go to a nice grocery store in Haiti, guess what? That store is not being run by state electricity. They have a Delco, a very large generator in the back, and that generator uses diesel, right? And so when you see a decrease in diesel, you're seeing a more profitable grocery store that potentially, not all the time, but potentially will pass a bit of those savings to the people buying those products, right? So one of the best ways you can impact the economy of Haiti really is impacting the fuel prices. And you combine that with the fact that the exchange rate has appreciated, and a lot of products have seen a decrease in their price points. It has meant that there's being a positive improvement in prices, right? Doesn't mean things are still good, because as we mentioned in the past few episodes, the appreciation of the good is being hit especially hard by business owners, particularly those who make their funds in dollars. Their expenses have doubled. We even talked about myself, how I've had to make very hard decisions and choices in terms of compensation structure for my employees, and that includes many others who are in similar position as I am, and it's tough for a lot of folks. And I know a lot of folks who are potentially on the brink of closing their doors, and even textile companies are talking about massive layoffs at the end of this month, in addition to potentially pulling out the country altogether, and that's potentially 25,000 jobs lost out of 53,000 is what we've reported in the past, and they continue to say we're probably going to have to lay off a lot of these people coming up, right? So those are the fuel prices, right? MOU has been signed between the PNH and Bernard Mez. MOU has been signed between PNH and Bernard Mez. Police will be offering and will receive free care from Bernard Mez going forward, right? Which is great news. At the moment, they do have Ofatma, and they did have care that were going at different hospitals, right? But there wasn't a one-stop shop. And Bernard Mez is one of the best hospitals in the country. And in fact, they're going to be the contact point for all police officers in the country, no matter where they are. For any serious endeavor, they'll be transported to Bernard Mez to be treated, right? So the MOU has been covered. That's really important for police officers, as you know, often a target of criminals. And it's crucial that they have good health care and health coverage. I was hoping to see something about their families being covered as well. That's another big pain point for the police officers as well. But with that, if I can see that, I'll certainly share that with you. Next up has to do with the internal unit. The internal unit within the anti-corruption department has been specifically geared up for asset verification and surveillance brigade. There's a lot of politicians, and just understand, whenever you're nominated to be head of a minister, or even lower inside, like a sort of manager, you have to declare your assets that you have, right? And as it stood, there wasn't really a way for folks to verify what those assets were, right? And so a new department, about us, from what I can tell, somewhere about 5 to 6 new agents will specialize in asset verification within the anti-corruption unit. Anti-corruption department within the judiciary, right? Important enough to mention on Haiti Biz News, because one of the things that stymies business is corruption. And so whenever we have positive developments in the infrastructure to fight that corruption, it is important to share on Haiti Biz News. Right? Transportation, just jump into that. Sunrise Airways is reporting that from Port-au-Prince, there will be flying from Port-au-Prince to Cuba starting November 1st, which is great news. They'll be flying to Santiago de Cuba from Port-au-Prince starting November 1st. And starting December 1st, they'll be flying to Camagüey and Havana. Camagüey and Havana. They'll be flying. Remember, flights were stopped because of COVID, right? Stopped because of COVID. And so look out for those who are, in fact, I'm on a flight to Cuba myself. I'll be honest with you, since I got my Haitian passport. So I stopped being lazy. I have all my other Haitian documentation, but I didn't have my passport. And I finally got it about 2 weeks ago. And a lot of folks didn't believe. Like, how did you dropped it on my IG? How did you get your there's dual citizenship? What do you? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. We've talked about it. But yes, there is. But for the sake of time, we won't get into it today. But I will be making a new parlay very soon to break that down, because the amount of interest and comments I got from my comments made it very clear that. And by the way, it's going to be in the book. I decided to add that as a chapter once I saw that level of demand of people. I decided to add that as a chapter in the book that I'm writing as well. So it will be in the book as well, in terms of how to go about it, the history behind, at least the current regulations behind the Haitian diaspora, which I'm actually, it might be worth actually having to wait to drop the book, because if the new Constitution comes out, it's probably going to make my entire thesis out of date very, very quickly. So actually, I may have to wait on dropping the book now, guys. So I hopefully President Moise drops his new Constitution sooner than later. But I'll put a little footnote, I guess, in there to say, hey, by the way, new Constitution is coming. This may make this whole site. But hey, that just means I can make a second edition, right? That you guys can rebuy. Ching ching, capitalist. I'm kidding. But we'll see. Ultimately how we have to update that and how we go about that. May just be as simple as making a new parlay part 2 of when that happens. But in any case, I will be in Cuba at some point next year, God willing. Right? International aid. Japan has completed 12 new schools in the country. Let me say that again. Yeah, Japan has completed the construction of 12 new schools in the country. They have with over 90 classrooms. The schools are between Central Plateau and Atibonite departments, right? Which is phenomenal, fantastic. Hats off to Japan for their assistance with something so crucial and critical. The United Nations Development Program and the Ministry of the Environment has installed 8 solar panels across 8 solar pumps. These solar pumps will be installed in Akwin. Have been installed in Akwin, which is in the South Department, and also in Haiti Biz as well, right? Funding was in part from India, in large part by India, the India UN Development Partnership Fund. And additionally, about 40,000 people, we expect 40,000 people to be, that will benefit from the project, right? So fantastic news to hear. These solar pumps are very important agriculturally, because it allows water to come out from underground cisterns, right? Natural cisterns, as they say, perhaps in Francais, and go much farther than they would normally, which means much more irrigated farmland and much more production from a farm perspective, which is absolutely crucial for Haiti, because we know there is no path forward in Haiti without without agriculture being imparted and improved upon, right? Right. And the last news story has to do with IDB. The IDB has the new president, has to do with Juris Marsurio Clavier Cawon. His goal is to focus on smaller countries. His goal is to focus on smaller countries, and in that regard, he's effectively dedicated 35% of the volume of annual loans to countries in the Caribbean. And though Haiti is not the only country that was mentioned, but Haiti is a part of that 35% earmark for development loans in the country, in the IDB portfolio, at least under the new president, Juris Marsurio Clavier Caon. All right. So great news for those SMEs potentially who can take advantage of those opportunities, right? And certainly good news in general for development in the country. And a lot of these loans are generally low interest. A lot of these loans too do end up getting forgiven as well. And so these are important developments that we need to take advantage of and be cognizant of, right? And that's the news, right? We're at 1 hour, very short, but as I mentioned, the reason why we're doing this show so early to begin with is because we got a lot of stuff going on today. But I still wanted to provide the news from a development perspective of what's going on in the country. And folks who usually watch it at 11, they can still watch it at the time they usually watch it, right? It's much better to do it earlier than do it later, right? As I mentioned at the top of the hour, I won't be able to go into the comments like I usually enjoy to do and just have a conversation with you guys. But we'll be back next Sunday at our usual time, right? Just remember, guys, we had an incredible video with Brother Love. Do make sure to check out the Brother Love video. We really enjoyed making it. Brother Love, he's a real one. He's a real, what you see on IG, there isn't an on and off with Brother Love, right? There isn't an on-screen persona and an off-screen persona. Who you see during that episode, that's who he really is, right? So go check that out. Go check out the videos on Seejeanty. And then after you check out this video on Brother Love, go to his channel. He's also a YouTuber. And give him some subscription love, right? Some really great stuff out there, right? So do check that out, right? And again, we'll be back. I want to thank you guys again for watching this so early. I got almost 50, 60 plus people on the live today. In fact, we're going so quick. IG didn't even finish. IG's timer didn't even finish, right? Which means we're under an hour, at least on IG. All right. So I wanted to thank you guys as always. Every Sunday, your first time here, first time watching it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, right? There's so much content on the Seejeanty channel. Do go check that out. Right? And listen, guys, that's it. We're going to end it right here. And guys, until we're back at it again, we'll be back at it again. Peace.